Welcome back. Since the late President Nasser era, Egypt proved that Africa is going to remain a strategic depth, and Egypt is going all the time to be there for the African allies, to give them a hand and to support them in all domains. And when Egypt assumed the presidency of the African Union in 2019, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi echoed the very same stance of Egypt regarding the African continent, saying that Africa should be on top of the world according to its resources, and particularly human resources, because Africa is a young country filled with youth, with huge potentials, in addition, of course, to the natural resources. And to build on that, we have our Aswan Forum for African Development and Peace. The 5th edition started yesterday as President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi addressed the gathering via video conference, and Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati addressed the gathering in person, and he also participated in a number of forums and workshops to discuss the very important aims and goals of the forum: development and peace in Africa. Well, to shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Monica William, our political and economic expert. Thank you very much for being with us, Dr. Monica, and a very good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Dr. Monica, whether in the speech of the President or of our top diplomat, they both agreed that economic integration is one of the main priorities in front of the African continent in general. And it's time to unite together to achieve this on the ground. Would you please, I'd like you to elaborate on that.
Yes, as you mentioned that Africa represents a central pillar of Egypt's foreign and economic and security policy. Its importance can be demonstrated through concrete figures. Let me set some of this. The economic importance, Africa is one of Egypt's fastest growing export markets, with Egyptian exports to Africa exceeding 6.2 billion in 2024, representing around 20 growth over the previous year. And Egypt aims to increase trade with Africa to 6 billion by 2030 through the African Continental Free Trade Area. And Egypt's investment in Africa reached over $10 billion, mainly in construction, energy, and telecommunication and infrastructure. And of course, Egypt is building around 11 major energy interconnection projects with African and countries to enhance electricity exchange. It's of course based on the level of energy and infrastructure. So the conference that you have mentioned, it's very important, and it's continuing of previous effort. It marked a strategic transition toward reshaping the global narrative of African role in international peace and development. And the main target of this year forum is to restore trust in the rules-based international order by promoting inclusivity and African agency in global policy making.
And because of that, the theme of this edition of the forum is a continent in motion, navigating Africa's progress amid global shifts. How do you see this title? And I mean, it really indicates a lot. If you want to elaborate even on the title of the forum this edition.
Yes, the title or the theme captures profound reality. The world is experiencing geopolitical fragmentation, economic realignment, and technology disruption. So while Africa is re-emerging as a strategic actor with unprecedented potential, the theme emphasizes that Africa is not simply reaching to global tests, it's actively reshaping and it asserts its right to fair representation in international decisions. And this also aligns with Egypt's position that the global governance system must be reformed to reflect today's geopolitical realities. And the forum provides strategic space for Africa to negotiate further international partnership while defining its developmental priorities, of course.
Mm-hmm. And also among the important issues which were discussed or also mentioned as of the key points, whether in the President's speech or in the Foreign Minister's speech in front of the gathering, is security. And to unite to end all conflicts, all struggles, because unfortunately the African continent is the most negatively impacted by struggles, by conflicts, by illegal migration, by the line of poverty, you name it. So how these points are very important to be considered or taken into consideration as we want to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals of the African Agenda 2063.
Of course, as we know that security and actually the forum promotes innovation and sustainable partnership among different government development banks and private investors and civil society to manage these critical resources such as water, energy and food and fairly efficiency. Through regional cooperation, African countries can invest in shared infrastructure, promote renewable energy and reduce competition over these resources that often fuel conflicts. So Egypt in particular has stressed the need for non-precise cooperation and shared responsibility between the global north and south, especially in finance and food security. And I expect that this issue is so strategic and realistic recommendation that reforms African sovereignty over its development path. First one, I guess the call for reforming global financial architecture to ensure fair access to development financing, and I guess Dr. Badr Abdel mentioned this issue. And the second important point is strengthening African peacekeeping and early warning system. It's a very important and very critical point in this regard. Institutional support for post-conflict reconstruction, and Egypt has a very important role, and expand. And as you know that one of the most important topics that in this forum is AI governance frameworks.
This was my coming question regarding AI, digital transformation or transfer of technology. How this can take place on the ground? I mean, should we build on what was achieved in the developed countries and to have this exchange of expertise with our allies from the western part, or to depend on the minds of our scientists, researchers, and to make sure that they are going to have all the facilities to think out of the box and to innovate?
As you know that artificial intelligence has become a transformative force in sustainable development in a world, as you mentioned. In Africa, it can revolutionize agriculture and enhance public health, expand financial inclusion, and strengthen what I mentioned before, the early warning mechanism for conflict prevention. However, as highlighted during the forum, AI must be governed ethically to ensure it serves peace and human development rather than exclusion and misinformation. AI can support data-driven policy decision, advance education system, and accelerate economic transformation, but only if there is equitable access to digital infrastructure and skills, particularly across the global south.
Yeah, amen to that. Dr. Monica, let's look at the forum from another perspective, as a platform to sign protocols, to discuss strategic partnerships among different African states, to make sure that the word integration, the word sustainable, the word development, the word competitiveness, all these words are going to be used in these memoranda of understanding or protocols for the best interest of the African peoples and meeting the aspirations of the African peoples.
Yes, I guess it's focused on African economic integration is what's vital for achieving strategic autonomy and reducing dependence on external economic system. The African Continental Free Trade Area offers a strategic historic opportunity to build intra-African value chain and create millions of jobs and encourage local economies. So economic integration is also a peace strategy that this protocol is focused on. With economic interdependence are less likely to experience conflict. So integration strengthens African negotiation power globally and supports collective economic security in the face of supply chain disruption and global inflation due to the external geopolitical issues.
Dr. Monica, thank you very much for your input and have a very good day. We were very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Monica William, our economic and political expert and professor of international relations. Right after the short break, we are going to be back with more. Stay tuned.